Hi, good evening everyone. Welcome to 5 Minutes Tobacco. Today 2 topics, actually 2.5. Topic number 1 is Bernard's. You know, they will close their business in May 2024. So if you have the chance to grab a few last tap boxes, then go for it. Actually, it has been quite hard to get their, what's the name, Civet, and I think it was the Offenbacher or something like this. They are not available anymore. And well, what's the future of Bernard? Maybe the same what those days happened with Gavith and Hoggart and Samuel Gavith, and also Wilson's, right? That one company will take over the portfolio of the other one, maybe even with the recipes. And in Germany, I think it would be Pöschel. And I mean, they did these, you know, Pöschel has the tendency to do that because they have, for example, Redford, the JBR, they even have the Gavith apricot, right, which they produce under license. There is also this Scandinavian Tobacco Group, which is producing a few handful of snuffs. So I guess it's not like it completely disappears. There was this Postilion, I think was the name of one of their snuffs, which had the same story, where it was actually a product of a tobacconist, and then Bernard took over the production after the owner passed away. So maybe we are lucky, and there will be again a Civet coming out from Bavaria, but from another town. I mean, they are in the same state, so it would be most logical to do so. And I honestly would recommend it to Pöschel. You know, Bernard is like a brand name, and they have a following, and they have some pretty good snuffs and pretty famous ones also here in Germany. So that would be one solution to the next problem that will come. The other reason it could be, you know, like that Bernard simply didn't make much money. I mean, they went bankrupt in 2008 for the first time, and then they split off this snuff tobacco section from the tobacco factory. And well, you know, if you are Pöschel, for example, who have a portfolio of so many different products, starting from cigarettes, roll your own tobacco, pipe tobacco, snuffs, of course, right, and schmalzlers, so that if you don't earn much money in one of these segments, you can somehow balance it out. But if you are a snuff maker alone, and you know, you have to pay for machinery and for I don't know what, right? Might be much harder. And of course, the laws in the European Union are not exactly tobacco friendly. I'll tell you a little story about it later. But first, for today, another one of a company that basically closed and reopened under another name. That's Grimm Triepel from Germany. They were actually, it's like, more or less a complicated story. This factory or this company was established in Nordhausen, which is in Western Germany, back in 1849. And that was, I think, the name. His name was, I just say his name was Adolf Triepel. Right, and then the Grimm family, Adolf Grimm, I don't know, and then the Kruse family took over this factory, this company, because they didn't have a successor. So Familie Kruse, the Kruse family took it over, and that's why it says here also bekannt als Kruse. So this one, the number one of Grimm Triepel, is also known as Kruse because that was another manufacturer. Basically, this company Grimm Triepel bought up smaller chewing tobacco makers, and this is a chewing tobacco. In 2016 they closed, and then one famous German tobacconist or tobacco wholesaler bought them, and it says on the package, it says made in the EU. Now this is because I'm not sure where it's made. I don't know if they still produce it in Nordhausen, which is a Western German town. In those days it was Western German, now it's in Germany, of course, and there was another company which was in the east of Germany, and you know, during this time of the German division, they were basically competing, but in two different markets. And I don't know if they are still made here or if it's made by the same company that is producing for the Danish market, or Oliver Twist, for example, which I have here, by the way. So a chewing tobacco which has a very unique flavoring. They have a few of them, but right now at the moment you can get definitely two of them. One is the number 1 and the number 6. And it looks like this. There is an interesting video, if you're interested in the production, there is an interesting video, I will link it in the descriptions, then you can have a look. It's in German, but you can turn on the subtitles and then translate. It works quite well. And actually it's a leaf that's rolled up, right? And then it looks like that. And there are different sizes and different shapes, I mean, depending on where they cut it off. And since it's late in the evening here, I just take a smaller one. Traditionally you put it under your lip, right? So let's try number 1, what taste it is. They have something like 40 different ingredients in this sauce. If you watch the video, you will see they have this big copper pot in which they put all these ingredients, this licorice and this and that, secret ingredients. 2 old ladies, very cute, 2 old babushkas producing a chewing tobacco, and then these leaves are soaked in it and then pressed and so on, and the one lady's job is the ripper. Yeah, it's not Jack the Ripper. She's removing this central part of the leaves and cuts this, and then later there is a machine which is spinning, and they put these leaves like layered over each other, and this makes this long string of chewing tobacco, and later it's cut, and there are different shapes of it. So nowadays this was the cigarette of the poor man cigarette, right? Nowadays it's not very, I don't know anyone who purchases these and uses these, because it's also comparably expensive. I mean, for how much you get. So taste wise, you get this slight saltiness, and licorice is there, but it's not overpowering. This whole chewing tobacco has a very mild flavoring, but you can detect each flavor or a combination of different flavors. It has a bit of a caraway and has a bit of licorice and a bit of a bitterness also to it. This is of course the nicotine and the different tobacco leaves that they are using. Nicotine hit is quite high, so this one is really nice if you, for example, take a long trip and you cannot smoke, right? On the plane, bus, train, for example. Or maybe even if you want to quit smoking. I don't know, it didn't work for me. Yeah. Talking about a little sidebar. So there is on the Ministry of Agriculture in Germany, it's called BMEL. There is a tobacco database that was, I don't know, established like 15 years ago or something, where they put at that time all existing tobacco products into a database, and it shows you what additives they have put into roll your own tobacco, cigarettes, snuffs, pipe tobacco, and so on. I got all these informations about how much menthol is inside and how much flavoring and so on. I got it from that website. The fact of the matter is that this database is really, really old. It's like over 10 years old. And it has been, I mean, if you visit, there is even an info box which says we are working on updating the database. Yeah, this has been written there for over 4 years. So, since I am a citizen of the European Union and Germany, and I know that there is a good reason why I mentioned European Union, I wrote an email and asked, what's going on with your database? It's outdated and I'm a consumer. I want to know what additives are being put into the tobacco products that we are using, right? You want to know it too, right? So 2 weeks later I got an answer, at least I got an answer, which says, yeah, because of this joint tobacco action plan or whatever, they are in the European Union, they are working on a unified system to put all the tobacco products that are existing in Europe into one database, and they want to harmonize. If you hear this, be careful, harmonize these databases, which there are, right? Where I only know that the UK has one, which is not the EU anymore, and then of course the Germans, they have one, but all the other countries, I haven't found any information about that. So I was quite upset about it, because you know, the EU is exactly that institution, the European Union, the Commission. They are deciding about the good and bad for you EU citizens, right? They tell you. It started here with cigarettes, right? In the good old days, you bought a pack of cigarettes, it was like the brand and what flavor, right? And there was a little, we call it Steuerbanderole, so it's a little piece of paper. I cannot show you now, maybe I can show you here. Piece of paper that is showing that the tobacco tax has been paid, right? So that was the only information here, the price of it, you know, and then they also told you how much nicotine is inside and how much tar. These were the two infos, and then you had like 1.012 or something like this. Then they started with these first warnings, you know, like smoking is bad. Okay, never mind. Then later they added the carbon monoxide also on it, right? Oh, okay, who cares? Then later they started to put on these exploding babies and whatever, you know, like it kills you, it kills your children and whatever whom. Now they have a new unified package. I cannot show you because I don't have these. These packages are like dark gray. And it's only a warning, and with very small letters it says this is whatever Winston or Dunhill or whichever cigarettes, right? And they have limited the amount of nicotine and tar and carbon monoxide in the cigarette, so it's not allowed to surpass this. But what does it mean? It means that many old cigarette brands, which were, for example, without filter, or they had oriental tobaccos, were suddenly taken off the market, didn't exist anymore. They continued. It was not enough for them. They said flavoring is forbidden. It's forbidden to even write onto the package what flavor it is. You know, you could actually recreate some kind of a flavor by tainting your filters. Even this is forbidden. For the snuff tobaccos, it's the same. C-type, O-type, R-type, cherry and orange and raspberry, right? They even changed the names of, you know, like in Britain also, right? In the UK. All these strange names that they have nowadays, which were in the past, it was clearly stated this and this flavor is your snuff, right? This is the fucking European Union. These nannies, by the way, it's the same in the US and Canada too, I'm pretty sure. They tell you what you are allowed to do and what not. They are these nannies. So let's grab them by the balls, right, and tell them, okay, if you control me. I want to control you guys. I want to know what flavoring are in those products which were released onto the market after your ridiculous database was put online. Because there were many new products which are not mentioned there. Well, that's just a rant. About Grimm Triepel, back to the topic again. So they have I think 6 numbers. Not sure, I think 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have number 1 and number 5 if I remember right. And number 5 is this one as a mentholated, like a spearmint or something flavor with slight mint on it. Nicotine wise, super high. I think that's the maximum. If you want to increase the nicotine, you just chew on it 1-2 times. You don't need to spit out. If you're a beginner and you notice it's too hefty, they also say it on the package, just remove it for a while. If you don't want to get this extreme nicotine hit, then spit out your saliva. But this one is actually the least flavored one of all those chewing tobaccos that I have tried so far, which is the whole product line of Oliver Twist and of course the Grimm Triepel, these two. So 16 minutes of your life you will never get back again, but thank you for sharing your time with me, and see you next time. Have a good evening, nice start of the week, bye bye.